Attention passionate San Francisco 49ers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on the San Francisco 49ers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true San Francisco 49ers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and San Francisco 49ers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying close attention to the NFL headlines lately, you've probably sensed a bit of tension brewing around the San Francisco 49ers. And no, it's not just about the upcoming season, the roster building, or the draft picks. There's a story that's been gaining traction. A story that could have serious implications for the team's future, especially at the wide receiver position, which has been a critical part of the 49ers' identity and success over the past few seasons. We're talking about Jauan Jennings, a player who has grown from an undrafted free agent into a vital piece of the 49ers' offensive puzzle. But now, it's not just about his on-field performance. It's about the contract drama that's unfolding right before training camp, and it's a story that you, as dedicated 49ers fans, need to understand in full detail. So, let's set the stage. Jauan Jennings, who signed with the 49ers back in 2020, has become more than just a depth receiver. He's proven to be a reliable target, especially in high-pressure situations, and his chemistry with quarterback Brock Purdy has been noteworthy. His stock rose significantly last season, and it's no surprise that Jennings is now looking for a little more financial security. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, Jennings is demanding that the 49ers either extend his contract or trade him. Now, imagine that, a key player essentially giving the team an ultimatum. That's a bold move, but it's also a reflection of how much Jennings believes he's earned a bigger role and a better paycheck. Currently, Jennings is in the final year of his deal, which is set to pay him around $7.5 million. For a player who has stepped up repeatedly, that figure might seem modest, especially considering the rising salaries we see across the NFL. Looking back at the 2024 season, Jennings had a pretty solid year. He made clutch catches, showed versatility in the slot and outside, and proved to be a dependable target for Brock Purdy and the offense overall. For a player who was once considered a depth piece, he's now positioned himself as a critical component, so it makes sense that he's pushing for a pay raise. But the question that's on everyone's mind, especially among 49ers fans, is what the team will do next. Will they extend him, or will they decide that trading Jennings is the best move? Well, the reality is a bit more complex than a simple yes or no. Let's analyze the options. First, extending Jennings. It's theoretically possible, especially if the price isn't too high. The 49ers have shown in the past they're willing to lock up key players, like Brock Purdy, George Kittle, and Fred Warner with long-term deals. But here's where things get tricky. Interestingly, despite having the chance to extend these core players earlier, the team didn't go that route back then. So it seems they've been cautious or perhaps strategic about when and how they commit. That previous hesitation raises questions about whether they're willing to open up their purse strings for Jennings now, especially considering the salary cap implications and the fact that they've heavily invested in their current wide receiver core. Now, if an extension isn't on the table, a trade could be the next logical step. But even that isn't straightforward. Trading Jennings means parting ways with a player who has shown he can contribute significantly, especially in big moments. Yet the team might view him as a luxury rather than a necessity, given the depth they've invested at wide receiver. Brandon Ayuk, for instance, is a focal point of the offense, and with his recent injury struggles, some fans wonder if Jennings would be a perfect replacement. But the 49ers probably see him more as a complementary piece now, not a long-term cornerstone. But here's where it gets really interesting. There's a third option, one that might be the most strategic of all. The 49ers could simply let Jennings play out his final year, see how he performs, and revisit the conversation at the end of the season. That approach would give them more clarity on his value, his health, and whether they want to make a long-term commitment. This has been the presumed plan all along, especially since the team didn't jump to extend him earlier in the offseason. Jennings, it seems, might have approached the team early on, wanting that contract extension. But now, with training camp looming, he's resorted to leaking the news to pressure the front office. It's a classic move, but I don't think it's going to sway the 49ers' decision-making process. The reality is, the 49ers have already invested heavily in their roster. Their offense is stacked, with stars like Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, and of course, the rising star Brock Purdy leading the charge. Jennings, while invaluable in certain situations, might be viewed as a luxury they can afford to let go if the price gets too high. It's a tough call, especially considering how much he's contributed, but the team's long-term plans and salary cap management often take precedence over individual negotiations. It's a delicate balancing act, maintaining a competitive roster while also making smart financial decisions. What makes this even more compelling is the timing. We're right at the cusp of training camp, which always brings a mix of excitement and uncertainty. The 49ers have had their share of contract dramas in the past, but last year's distractions seem to have been managed well. Let's hope this year, the Jennings situation doesn't cause unnecessary distractions that could hinder team chemistry or focus. The players and coaching staff need to be laser-focused on preparing for the season, and drama like this can sometimes overshadow the real goal, winning games and making another Super Bowl run. And speaking of the team's ambitions, the 49ers are entering a fascinating period. They've been one of the most consistent and exciting teams in recent years, thanks to their strong defense, innovative offense, and excellent coaching staff led by Kyle Shanahan. Shanahan's offense is arguably one of the most creative and dynamic in the league, capable of generating explosive plays and controlling the game clock. Brock Purdy's rise last season was nothing short of remarkable, transforming from an unheralded rookie to a legitimate franchise quarterback. And with players like Nick Bosa anchoring a ferocious defense, the 49ers are always in the conversation for Super Bowl contention. But as always, the NFL is a league of fine margins. Small roster decisions, like what to do with Jennings, can have ripple effects. If Jennings leaves via trade or simply plays out his contract and then walks away in free agency, it could impact the team's chemistry and depth. Conversely, if they manage to negotiate an extension, it would send a message of stability and confidence in their young core. It's a pivotal moment, not just for Jennings but for the entire franchise, as they navigate these contract negotiations amid the pressure to perform and win now. Let's also talk about the broader context. The NFC West has become increasingly competitive, with the Seattle Seahawks, Los Angeles Rams, and Arizona Cardinals all vying for supremacy. The Rams, for example, are reloading after their Super Bowl victory a few years back, and the Seahawks are always tough with their developing young talent and a resurging Geno Smith under center. The Cardinals, despite their rebuild, still have some intriguing pieces. So for the 49ers, maintaining a strong, cohesive roster is paramount. Losing or trading a player like Jennings could have ripple effects, but so could holding onto him if it drains resources or causes distractions. In terms of the team's outlook, there's genuine optimism. Kyle Shanahan has shown his ability to adapt and maximize the talent on hand, and Brock Purdy's emergence as a reliable quarterback has reinvigorated the offense. The defense, led by Nick Bosa, remains one of the league's best, and the special teams also continue to be a strength. The question now is whether they can navigate this contractual hurdle with Jennings and keep their focus on winning football games. The front office's decision will be scrutinized closely, whether they decide to extend Jennings, trade him, or let him play out his contract, and it will shape the team's trajectory for this season and beyond. And now, San Francisco 49ers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this whole situation? Do you think Jennings deserves a new deal, or do you believe the team should let him go and focus on their core? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the San Francisco 49ers community. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, more analysis, and all the latest news about the 49ers. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep the conversation going. This team is on the rise, and with your support, there's no limit to what they can achieve. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Niners.